I moved to Flagstaff, Arizona, for silence, for mountains, for the tall, whispering pines. I wanted a place where no neighbors were close enough to hear you scream, or so I thought. The house I found was old, built right into the side of a hill, almost swallowed by the landscape. The realtor, a man with a too-wide smile, showed me the basement. Tucked in the back was a small windowless concrete room. He called it an echo chamber. He laughed when he said it, a short, sharp bark of a sound. I didn't ask why. I should have. The first night, unpacking done, the silence of the forest pressing in, I decided to test it. I stood in the middle of that cold, grey room and whispered, "Hello." The word came back to me perfectly, bouncing off the walls, a crisp and clean echo. It felt normal, harmless, just a quirk of the old house. I went to bed feeling settled, finally alone. The second night, a strange curiosity pulled me back down to the basement. I stepped inside the echo chamber again, but this time, I didn't say a single word. I just stood there, breathing in the musty air. The silence stretched. Then, a voice answered the quiet. It whispered, "You shouldn't have come alone." I froze. My blood turned to ice. My mouth hadn't moved. My lips were sealed shut. It had to be stressed. I told myself the high altitude, strange acoustics, my imagination running wild in this new, isolated place. I forced myself to believe it, to rationalize it, and retreated back upstairs to the relative safety of my bedroom. The third night was different. I heard the echo chamber before I even reached the basement stairs. It was a low, indistinct murmur. The sound was bizarrely familiar, like someone quietly rehearsing answers to questions they hadn't been asked yet. My heart was pounding, a frantic drum against my ribs, but some morbid pull dragged me down the stairs. I pushed open the heavy door and stepped inside. The murmuring stopped. The air grew heavy, thick with anticipation. Without me speaking, without me even forming a full thought, the voice from the night before spoke again, clearer this time. "You're thinking about your brother." My heart didn't just drop, it plummeted. It felt like the floor had vanished from beneath me. No one knew about him. Not anymore. I had buried that part of my life so deep, covered it with years of silence and denial. I stumbled backward, my hand fumbling for the doorknob. But before I could touch it, the door slammed shut on its own with a deafening boom that vibrated through the concrete. Panic seized me. I was trapped. Then, the whispers started. Not one voice, but dozens. They came from inside the walls, from the floor, from the ceiling. They were everywhere, a chorus of phantoms, and they were finishing my thoughts. They whispered memories I had never spoken aloud, secrets I thought were mine alone. The time I stole money from my mom's purse. The lie I told my best friend that ended our friendship. Every dark, shameful corner of my mind was being laid bare, echoed back at me by this legion of unseen voices. Then, one voice rose above the rest, commanding and cold. It wasn't a whisper anymore. It was a clear, direct order. Ask the question. I didn't want to. I fought against it, my jaw clenched, my mind screaming no, but my body betrayed me. My lips moved, forming words I wasn't choosing. The question slipped out, a dry rasping sound that was barely my own. "Why does this room know me?" The silence that followed was the most terrifying part yet. The usual echo, the one I'd heard that first night, didn't come. The room didn't repeat my question, it answered it. The chorus of voices spoke as one, a single, chilling entity. "Because we've been listening. Since before you arrived." In that instant, the single bare bulb hanging from the ceiling flickered once, and then went out, plunging me into absolute, suffocating darkness. I heard a soft click. The door. It had unlocked. I didn't hesitate. I scrambled out, tripping up the basement stairs, my lungs burning. I didn't stop. I ran through the house, grabbing my keys, my wallet, my phone. I didn't pack. I just ran. I threw everything into my car and peeled out of the driveway, the tires screaming on the gravel. I left Flagstaff before the sun even thought about rising over the mountains. I drove 4 hours, never once looking in the rearview mirror. I never looked back. A week passed. I was staying in a cheap motel 1,000 miles away, trying to convince myself it was all a bad dream, a psychological break. Then, my phone buzzed. A voicemail from an unknown number. My hand was shaking as I pressed play. I held the phone to my ear, and I heard my own voice, the one from that final, awful night in the chamber, asking, "Is anyone there?" Then, after a pause, another voice came through the speaker. It was quiet, soft, and intimate. It was the echo, and it answered, "You never really left."